I'm Carlcadium, and I'm making a game inspired by Mirror's Edge and Titanfall, where the goal is to get both parkour and shooting right.
Wow, that is delicious. Finally, some good fucking food.
Before we dive into shiny new stuff, like the fresh enemy AI,
He dumb?
I just want to say a big thanks for all the amazing comments and feedback on my previous videos. Every thumbs up hits like espresso, briefly convinces me I know what I'm doing. And yes, the guns no longer look like the love child of a spaceship and a near sapper. One thing that I find to be a really important part of making the parkour feel immersive in an FPS game is by having a visible player body, as it helps communicate the complexity of the current movement to the player. But what I have seen in many other parkour games where the player has a visible body is that they just slap the camera onto a head bone of the player's skeletal mesh. By default, this will force the camera to move along with the player's animations, which is great, right? Instant pre-screen shake. What's not to love? Well, turns out your breakfast doesn't love it. What I've done instead is that I've split the full body mesh into the traditional FPS arms and a lower body mesh, giving me full control of arm animations while the rest of the body politely exists in the background. I've also got a third mesh with the entire body, including the arms that's hidden to the player but seen in shadows and reflections. This would also be the mesh seen by other players in case I ever decide to make a multiplayer version. The arms are set up to mostly use procedural animations through the code in C++ and inverse kinematics in the animation blueprint, while the body meshes share their animation logic and use a mix of motion matching and traditional animations. One problem that was pointed out many times when showing my last devlog was that the gun felt way too big and didn't really fit in. I totally agree with this. So I've done a huge update on the gun model, updated the textures and changed the way the player holds the gun. I think this mid-screen pistol position looks pretty cool. I got inspired by the game Delta Force. I've also made a shotgun.
It's the mind-boggling.
On top of this, I've also updated how the gun moves around on the screen while the player is moving and looking around. I mentioned this in my previous video as well, that I think this movement is super important to make the guns look and feel good. I'm not fully done with the arm animations yet though. I still want to create a proper reload animation, and I also want to improve things like how the gun is held when sprinting so the arms fling heavily back and forth, really emphasizing it, and some other things like that. AI. No, not you, ChatGPT. I'm talking about the traditional game NPC AI here. I currently have two enemy types, one that simply shoots at the player with hitscan weapons, having a varied amount of spread depending on the situation. Another enemy that has a type of charged attack that the player can dodge. My plan forward is to have more enemy variety with things like drones. Unreal has a behavior tree system for setting up AI behavior, which gives a visual flow for setting up the actions it should perform, and controls various variables in the tree through a blackboard. All of this interacts well with the code set up in C++, and I have used this system quite a lot in my previous projects, but I still prefer not to use it for Liquid Lungs and instead do all of my AI code directly in C++ for this project. I still use environment queries though, which basically allows me to set up my own who wins the best spot scoring grids. Based on that score, the AI can move to various positions like random patrol points or specific points around the player. Just like for the player, I've set up the lower body animations using motion matching, letting it predict which animation to use based on movement. Then with an aim space, I rotate the upper body as needed so the enemy can aim in different directions. Because yes, they can walk one way and shoot another without breaking their spine. As you can probably guess, I'm just scratching the surface of how the enemy AI works. It gets pretty complex under the hood, but trying to explain all of it here would either take an hour or cause irreversible boredom. Neither is ideal. The levels are still very temporary, but I think the overall theme is starting to come together. Right now, most of the main pieces are just resized blocks with different materials slapped on, and I'm using decals for colored lines. It's definitely not a scalable setup, but it's a fast way to prototype and explore the style. Moving forward, I plan to build more reusable, modular pieces to lock in the look and to speed up the level creation. I feel like I'm starting to get some solid basics down, and it's really fun to just run around and shoot. Just keep in mind that this is still a super early prototype and I'm only one dude working on this, but I'm very excited about the progress so far. If you like what you're seeing here and would like to see more, hit that subscribe button and enable notifications, you'll be the first to see it. And if you'd like to support the project further, Liquid Lungs now also has a Steam page where you can wishlist it. Seriously, you're all awesome. I can't thank you enough for the support. As a next step, I will update and add more of what I've already been working on, but I'll also start setting up more proper game flows. Right, that's it for now. Bye.